I was very wrong. Hey, I hope everyone's doing great. You might notice that we're back in the laser studio with a different backdrop. That's because this week we're talking about how to make slate coasters and how to make money with them. These slate coasters are an absolutely fantastic project. Whether you're looking to give somebody a gift or start a laser engraving side hustle, they're a perfect solution. But I have a couple of questions that I've had about them. I've seen people do different things in terms of pre-processing them in how they get different types of finishes. So this week we're going to take a look at how we go from a plain slate coaster into something like these really awesome ones. And I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we could maybe improve my workflow to make you as much money as possible, and what kind of things that you could do to level up your laser engraved coaster business. So how do we get from a blank slate coaster into what you saw at the beginning of the video? That is what we're going to take a look at this week. We're actually going to do 5 total coasters to make our set of 4. Whenever you're working with a new material on your laser engraver, you're going to want to do a test so you can determine what the correct power and speed is going to be, your speeds and feeds if you're into it from the CNC world. Basically, we're going to etch a little pattern on one of our coasters, and that's going to let us know what our ideal power is going to be. Now, this is going to be kind of a roundabout because as a part of this video, we're doing these coasters 4 ways. As you can see from our close-up shot, these have a pretty rough texture from the beginning. And I've seen some really cool ways online where we can actually improve our engraving result with a little bit of elbow grease. What we'll be doing is our test engrave to see what our power needs to be set at when the engraving time comes. And then I've seen some really cool tricks where people are actually taking and sanding the surface of their coasters to make them smooth to get a nice clean engrave. So 2 of these we're going to be sanding. The reason that we're going to engrave 2 of the sanded ones is because we actually have another trick up our sleeves. I've seen people be able to get a really nice contrast between the slate stone and their laser etching by using a clear spray paint. A couple of quick clear coats helps to give you a darker slate, and then that'll make the light color of the etching come through stronger. So we're going to be doing 1 engraved, unmodified. We're going to be doing 2 that have been sanded, 1 clear coated, 1 not, and then we will be doing our last one as a unsanded but clear coated, so that way we can see which style is going to get you the best looking results, the highest amount of contrast, and which one you might want to go with if you're interested in making slate coasters to maybe make some money with your laser engraver. Before we can get started engraving, we actually need to do a little bit of prep work. So I have 2 coasters, and these are going to be the 2 that we sand smooth. In order to accomplish that goal, I have my cordless orbital sander, and I have some 120 grit Cubitron sandpaper. I have found the Cubitron has been my favorite sandpaper, but seeing as we're sanding stone, we are probably going to absolutely destroy this piece of sandpaper. So keep that in mind. You might not want to use the expensive stuff, but it's my favorite, and it seems to work about the best, so that's what we are going to roll with for this. What you're about to see with us sanding these, we had a great idea in the last second, and that was to actually use the shop vac to keep the dust contained. You don't particularly want to be breathing slate powder. I'm sure it's probably not great for you, so we decided to run the shop vac. I'm not really concerned about work holding because these coasters have really nice little rubber feet on the bottom of them, which make them stick where they're at pretty good, and I should have a pretty moderate amount of pressure on them while I'm sanding. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that. I was very wrong. Ooh, that's silky. Oh, I like that. Higher speed was a mistake. Sanding the slate overall was an incredible incredibly quick process, so I wouldn't say that it's that much extra work if we get good results from this. As you can see on the pictures that we're showing on screen right now, it is now super smooth as compared to before. And the before and after is going to give you a lot more flat surface to set your glass, mug, whatever on. And slate being a softer stone, really it didn't gum up my sandpaper too bad. I could probably do quite a few of these slate coasters with one sheet of quality sandpaper on my orbital sander. I did find that the little rubber feet on the bottom did not hold as well as I'd hoped. So what I did, as you could see, was I held one side and kind of just worked around like if I were working a small piece of wood. And I tried a couple different speeds and found that slow speed gave me the most control, and it didn't take that long to get this smoothed up anyway. Now that we have 2 coasters smoothed out, we're going to go ahead and hit 2 of them with the clear coat. 1 smooth, 1 factory rough. So that way we can compare those results. Okay, so I have my crude paint booth set up, aka piece of cardboard. Pro tip for all of you home game DIYers, if you have a good box like a TV or fridge box, you should always find a good place to save some of that cardboard because it's excellent for things like crawling underneath the vehicles or using as an impromptu paint booth. For our paint of choice, we are going to be using this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Gloss Crystal Clear. I don't know how long we've had this, and I'm not sure if this is the kind of paint that I'm supposed to use, but we're about to find out together. So, before you can paint, you always have to give your cans a good shake, rattle, and roll. Hello? I don't remember. Is heat bad for spray paint? Should I be not doing that? The 2 coasters that we clear coated are in the other room drying. There were some mishaps. It's been a long time since that can of paint's been used, so we had to kind of make do, and you'll see that there are going to be some bubbles. That's not really going to affect our overall project that we're doing right now, but this is all real stuff. This is what happens when you're working on these kind of projects. The next thing that we need to do is we're going to go ahead and we're setting up the laser, and we're going to use Lightburn to set up a test. Before I get into the software side of things, I'm going to make sure that the laser is pretty well ready to run. So in order to do that, we have to start with making sure that we have our offset, our laser focus dialed in. And to do that, we're going to need one of our coasters, and that's going to go under the laser head. And the longer Ray 5 uses a little bar of, I believe, aluminum to do the focusing. There's a little cutout over here on the back side of the laser that we are going to nestle this little bar into, and using these 2 thumb screws in the front, we're going to loosen those and drop the laser head down until it is resting on the bar. And that is what sets our focus from our workpiece. And we'll be close enough on all of the different size coasters, or they're not really different size. We'll be close enough on the different coasters that we're using to where we shouldn't have to dial that back in. Our focus is set. If you find this video and videos like this entertaining or beneficial in some way, make sure to go ahead and give us a like. And if you've checked out a few of our videos and like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications for whenever we upload, because we're going to keep doing more and more content as time goes on. Now that we've gotten the shameless plug out of the way, we have the laser set up, I have my safety glasses on the top of my head so I can switch to them easily, and we need to do a test. In Lightburn, the software that we use to control this laser, there is a built-in tool that we can run, and it will let us know how fast we can move and how much intensity for the material that we're working on from the laser is needed. So we're going to go ahead and run off a 5x5 grid, so that way we can quickly see where we want to be in terms of power and speed to make sure we're getting the best possible engravings. This is our engraved piece, and we're going to blow this up on screen bigger so that way you can see it better. Basically, you can see we have a 5x5 grid, and the laser is going to be changing speed in this direction and power in this direction. That's going to show us exactly where we want to be. And what we opted for was about 13,650 millimeters per second, not meters per second, and we also opted for 100% power. It was kind of the decision of me and cameraman Beau. We decided that looked the best overall for the Slate coasters. And we're gonna run the exact same parameters for all 4 of the different coasters that we're going to be doing. Which, speaking of those coasters, now that we have our test and we know what our power needs to be, let's go ahead and get those running. that we're back up top, I need to let you know, it smells terrible in here. A couple of these released some fumes that I probably shouldn't be breathing. So if you're going to try these experiments, make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. Anytime that you're using an open air laser engraver like this, you should have some sort of method set up for fume extraction. We were using a large fan and had the garage door open to pump as much air out as we possibly could. But the smell still remains, so please exercise caution when you're using your laser engraver. We're gonna play a little bit of a game with this. We're going to pop up in an order that we know the coasters that we engrave. We're going to label them 1 through 4, and I want you to let us know in the comments below which one do you think is which and which one is your favorite. As a reminder, the options that you have to choose from when you're guessing which one is which is one is going to be sanded and clear coated. Another is going to be just sanded. Another one will be just clear coated. And then one will be left entirely as it came to me from Amazon. Let me know in the comments which of the 4 that you think is which and which one you like the best, and then we'll let you know. Number 1 here. Number 2 here. Number 3. Or number 4. Do you feel like you're at the optometrist yet? Because I do. Now that you know the options and you've seen the pictures, let me know which one you think is which and which one is your favorite. Go ahead, I'll wait. Go ahead, type. Let me know. Keep typing. Got your answer locked in? Okay, perfect. If you guessed number 1 was the unsanded, unclear coated, you are absolutely correct. If you guessed number 2 is just clear coated, you nailed that one too. If you guessed number 3 was just sanded, got it again. And then if you guessed number 4 was sanded and clear coated, congratulations, you got an A+. That's 4 out of 4. It's 100%. Now, why did we do these 4 different options? There's a few reasons. Primarily, I wanted to test out some of these options that I've seen floating around online, and I haven't seen somebody put them all into one video. I wanted to provide that for you. Number 2 is these Slate coasters, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, are an excellent way to make a few dollars on the side. They make great gifts. They look really nice with most aesthetics in the home. So being able to offer a 4-pack of these engraved Slate coasters is going to go a really long way if you're trying to set up shop at the local farmer's market, craft show, or if you're really trying to justify the purchase of a new laser engraver to your significant other and you need to be able to make money with the hobby. Something like engraved coasters is a fantastic way to do that. The reason that these are a fantastic side hustle item is I'm seeing listings on Etsy for 4-packs of customized laser engraved coasters between $10 and about $25. And you're able to actually buy these in bulk on Amazon. Like I bought a 12-pack of them and it was around $15. So the cost to gain is definitely there. You do stand a chance to profit. Being said, the second reason that we tested these different methods to see which is the best is we wanted to know if putting a little bit of extra elbow grease into the process would be worth it for you. Because when you're trying to make money doing a side hustle or doing anything, time is money. And if it's not worth it for you to add extra steps into your workflow, then you shouldn't waste the time doing it, because if it's not worth it, it is a waste, and every second counts when you're trying to make money. What I found is I don't personally think that sanding these coasters, in my opinion, is worth the extra work. I really like the rough textured look of them because they're slate. They're supposed to look rough and rustic. That's what's cool about Slate coasters. You might find that you prefer the really smooth, almost mirror polish look, and that's fantastic. But the one step that I will definitely say is worth it 100% is definitely hitting them with a quick coat of clear coat. I found one coat is perfect and I get a really nice high contrast engrave. Again, this is absolutely nothing done with no clear coat, and this one is just clear coat and nothing done. I have a beautiful look and I have a really high contrast engrave with minimal work. You can pick up a can of clear coat paint pretty cheaply and I'm sure you could do quite a lot of coasters with that one can of clear coat. So when it comes down to adding extra steps into my workflow, I would absolutely, going forward when making these coasters, go ahead and spend the extra few minutes and the wait time to clear coat them. When you're browsing around on Etsy and you're looking at these Slate coasters and getting some ideas, you're going to see a lot of really popular pop culture things and sports teams. Keep in mind that that is somebody else's intellectual property. If you're looking at a set of 4 Harry Potter coasters, legally, you're not really able to use the Harry Potter intellectual property. The same as you're not allowed to put the Cleveland Browns or Detroit Lions on these coasters. Somebody else owns the right to that artwork. I went ahead and, as you could tell, I engraved the channel logo because I own that artwork. It's 100% mine and it's my branding. Plus, how good does our new logo look? If you're going to get into engraving and trying to make some money at it, you need to brush up on intellectual property law, because the people who own this really popular, like the sports teams and Disney characters and Harry Potter, I promise their lawyers are a lot more aggressive than you think they are, and their pockets are a heck of a lot deeper than yours, and I can't afford a court case with the mouse. So keep that in mind. Protect yourself. It might be worth it for you to go onto a website like Fiverr and pay somebody to design some custom art for you if you're not really an artistic individual like I'm not. If pursuing laser engraving as a side hustle is something that you want to get into, you can definitely optimize your workflow. The way that I did these tests was incredibly inefficient, but I don't make a lot of coasters. I mostly do them as gift sets for friends and family. One thing that you can do is there are actually SVGs available on Etsy that you can purchase, which an SVG is a file that you can use for engraving, and they are templates that you can plug right into Lightburn. And you can actually use your laser and cut out a jig out of plywood. So you can lay down 4 to 16 of these coasters, and they'll be a nice, neat, and orderly rows, and you'll know exactly where and how big you can put your artwork. If I did these more, I would absolutely invest in something like that, because I'm sure it's no secret, you could probably notice it in the pictures pretty easily, I messed up. These are not all on center. And that's because I was just kind of freehand aligning them with the laser. And if I'm just giving these as gifts to people, it's probably gonna be okay. But if you're serious about making some money, you're going to want them to be as perfect as you possibly can. So definitely either make your own or support an artist who's already done the hard work for you by laying it out and designing it. You can plug your artwork directly in, you'll have a nice template already set up, and you'll be off to the races in a way that you can just plop your fresh coasters in and hit go on the machine, and you'll have a nice orderly set of coasters. We have talked about the design, the process, the layout, how you can improve optimization and making sure that you have straight lines. But how could you take laser engraved coasters to the next step and do it one better than the next person in line selling them, something that can separate you from the competition? Well, the answer to that is really easy. You can actually make your own holder for them. Some folks don't like to leave their coasters out all the time, so including a nice organizer of some sort would go a really long way. If you're like me and you have a 3D printer at your disposal, you can actually design something fairly easily in a program like Fusion 360 or Tinkercad and print out a really cool, really simple coaster holder. Or you can hop over on to printables.com and type in coaster holder, and there'll be a ton of different results. Just make sure you find one that fits the individual coasters that you're using. One perk of designing your own 3D printed coaster holder is you can actually go ahead and put the artwork in the bottom, and you also have a place to put your branding underneath of the coaster holder. So that way you can have your own marketing built into the tool. As of the recording of the video, I haven't done this yet, but by the time it goes live, I will actually go ahead and post a quick and easy coaster holder that I have designed onto printables, and that link is going to be in the description. So that way, if you have a 3D printer and you don't want to mess with CAD, I'll go ahead and just give you a design to help you get started on your coaster creation journey, because I want to give back to the community as much as possible, and why not give you guys an awesome model to download for free? If you don't have a 3D printer and all you have is your laser engraver, well, you can actually cut some thin plywood, so if you wanted to level it up with a holder, you could go ahead and use one of the box building websites. Again, I'll have that linked in the description below as well. You can actually go ahead and just laser cut out your own box. There are plenty of options that you have to set yourself apart. And you're not limited to just putting artwork or mementos like wedding dates and things like that. You could actually maybe find a local business. Maybe there's a local bar and grill or something along those sorts where you could actually maybe do QR codes. I've seen people do that with leather coasters. You could do it on the Slate just fine, but you could put a QR code right on there that'll pull up like the menu or the business's website. That's fantastic for them because, I mean, here we are in the post-2020 era and everybody has those little generic stickers on their tables, and maybe it'd be cool for them to be able to set themselves apart. And that's a bigger business opportunity for you, being able to work with a business, because it's more likely to be repeat clientele. All in all, I think that being able to laser engrave coasters, whether you're doing it on leather or slate like we did in this video, being able to customize coasters is a fantastic project. And I think that if you're giving them as gifts, people will be incredibly happy to receive them. They're also a fantastic way for you to make some additional side money because, I mean, they look great. For all the coasters that we did in this video, we used the longer Ray 5, which, again, this machine was sent to me for free for evaluation, use, and testing, in exchange for my video, where we showed it to you before, link in the description. And I think the machine did a fantastic job. It was able to do the coasters accurately and quickly. The only reason things got off-center was because I'm a human. I'm not repeatable. The robot is. If you stuck around this long, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope that if you have any interest whatsoever in making your own engraved coasters or other laser-based products, you have a blast with it because it is a really fun way to personalize just about anything. Laser engraving is a fantastic way for you to personalize just about anything. Stone, wood, glass, metal if you have the right machine. And I've had an absolute blast in this one personalizing some awesome coasters. And if this is something that you're at all interested in, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below where you can get your own longer Ray 5 because I think the machine knocked it out of the park and we have some pretty awesome results.